Okay, save that, and we're going to save that. So if we hop on over to the viewcontroller.m file, now because we've had to add the property manually, we'll also have to manually add the synthesize declaration to the add names array. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is in our viewDidLoad method is we have to allocate and initialize this array. So here's our viewDidLoad method. Now because the add names array is a property, we have to use self.addNamesArray equals NSMutableArray alloc and init. Now we're just going to use init this time rather than init with objects, because we don't want to put any objects into our array yet. We want the user to add them. So just choose init. And so when the view loads, this array, the add names array, will be allocated some memory and it will be initialized and ready for use. So we want the user to be able to add the name to the array by clicking on the button. So all of the code needs to go in the method that we created for that. So the add name to array method. So the first thing that we need to do is take the text, the name that's typed into here, and add it to the array. So we've already seen how to do that up here, add object. So that's all we have to call. So self.addNamesArray, and then we use the add object method. And in this case, we don't want to type a static string like this. We want it to be dynamic, so because we want the user to add a different name every time. So we have to reference simply the text in here, and we've seen how to do that last time. Self.myTextField.text, and each time you add a name to the text field, click the button, it will take that text and add it to the names array as a string object. And then finally we want to display the whole array in the label. So like we've done before, self.myLabel.text equals, and we're going to use the NSString string with format method at %at oops. And then we just get the add names array. Okay. Okay, so when we run that, okay, this is the text that was in it before, but if I type in Grant, add name, and then I type in Bill, add name, and then I type in William. Okay, so that's working. David, add name. Okay, so that's how we can get input from the user. We can, each time we click the button, it will add that particular string to a mutable array, and then we get those values back again and display them in our label. Okay, and that's all I wanted to show you this week. So we talked about NS strings and how to manipulate strings, and then NS arrays, which are a collection of objects, and how to initialize an array, put some objects in it, and then get those values back again using methods like object at index, count, last object, index of object, and then finally NS mutable array, which is a class that allows you to change the size of the array and change the objects that is in the array. So add objects, remove objects, insert objects at different places within the array. Okay, so that's all for this week. See you next week.